And hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Stuart, and as you can hear all by myself, no Josh this time, he sadly lost his voice, as we know is a key component in reviewing anything on a podcast. So yes, so Josh, hopefully you get better soon. So until then, it's all by myself, just myself, reviewing AEW All Out 2021, in a show that was stacked from top to bottom, with matches like the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers, in a steel cage match for the tag titles. You had Jericho versus MJF, with the stipulation that Jericho loses, he can't wrestle in AEW again. You had CM Punk's first match in 7 years, going against Darby Allan, and obviously you had Kenny Omega going against Christian Cage for the AEW World title, and obviously awesome matches sprinkled in between all that awesomeness. But before we dive straight into reviewing the show, if you like what you hear, please like and subscribe, that'd be really appreciated. We're also on Spotify, iTunes and Anchor if you want to listen to us on podcast form. All these links will be in the description below. So without further ado, let's go and dive in and review AEW All Out 2021.
Says I just whipped your ass.
Yes! You just made the list!
Brock Lesnar.
So before we dive straight into talking about the main show, obviously we'll have a quick chat about the buy-in match. Obviously it was a 10-man tag team match between the Best Friends and Jurassic Express, going against Matt Hardy, Private Party and Hybrid 2. Again, I don't watch the kind of, we call pre-show, but kind of the buy-in kind of matches. But obviously the ending did end with Jungle Boy making Angelico tap out to the snare trap submission move. That's really cool. It's ironic because he's a submission expert, so it kind of, the irony is in that at the moment. Obviously this match started out with kind of a situation, obviously the feud between Owens Cassidy and Matt Hardy. That's not a feud I'm not exactly loving, but you know, it's mildly entertaining in some ways. But I think at the moment I just think they're keeping, doing stuff at the moment just to keep time ticking. I don't know, like example, obviously we were talking about a match tag team title scene, now that obviously the tag team titles are, spoiler warning, change hands obviously. So it's like the idea is obviously, if I was going to choose anyone that's going to face against the new tag champs, I'd probably say Jurassic Express, because the way they've, and maybe like the Best Friends and have like a triple threat, that would be awesome by the way. But yeah, I mean, it's just nothing crazy about this match in a sense. Again, it's just you got to go like 10 amazing workers, know how good they are, and just put them in a match for like 5-10 minutes, just to get the crowd infused and energetic before we get to the main show and the main stuff that everything's been advertised. So yeah. So I look forward to seeing if any of these tag teams start building up some really cool matches. And so obviously the winners were Best Friends and Jurassic Express won this match. So let's start talking about the actual start of the show. Obviously they started off a championship match with the AEW TNT Championship was on the line, with Miro defending his title against Eddie Kingston, in a match that I knew was going to be hard hitting. I knew it was going to be kind of physical. It's going to be really good, and in some ways it didn't really disappoint. I mean, it had that cool story going into the match, where it had Miro's weakness has been found by his back of his neck. Eddie Kingston put a DDT, I think, the Go Home show before, and basically proved that Miro is not invincible and he has a weakness. And got to be honest, through this match, Eddie Kingston kind of was working on that, trying to really soften that neck up, to try and see if he can take out the Redeemer and try and win the title. But yeah, as I said at the start of the match, a lot of chops, a lot of the back of the neck. Eddie Kingston was a lot in control, a lot of bellies. A lot of basically Eddie Kingston was just total in control of this match early on, but the kind of turning point was when Eddie Kingston was outside jumping off the apron, and then obviously Miro countered with a powerbomb, very Randy Orton-esque kind of powerbomb on the outside, then took him up and then slammed his back onto the ring post, and Miro was in control at that point. Obviously Eddie Kingston did get back into it. He had a side-out suplex on Miro, a lot of as you expect, as I said earlier, back and forth kind of shots. New Japan kind of thing you expect these days. Even Eddie Kingston even came back and kind of hit a move that the commentary said he never really uses, is a fisherman suplex. That again, it's he hit it really well. It's really cool. It shows he's bringing out the big guns for the big title matches. We did have a bit with was it Miro suplexing Eddie Kingston, but the turnbuckle within the middle turnbuckle came off. That would tie into a big moment we're just about to talk about now. Obviously, we had a bit where Miro locked in the the game over or his submission move to try it, but Eddie Kingston got to the ropes. No one's really done that, so that's a really big moment for Eddie Kingston, that he's going to take more than that. But the big moment for the match really was when you had all that work that Eddie Kingston's done on the neck, with like finally resulted in some sort of near fall, where obviously we had Eddie Kingston chop the back of the neck on Miro, then hit a devastating old school DDT, got the pin, got a near fall, but Miro really settled the hell out of it. But the story of this part is basically because the referee was like too busy trying to get the turnbuckle out of the ring, he wasn't paying attention, so there was a couple of seconds where the referee didn't make the count, and that was enough to get Miro to get out of the move, to kick out basically. So there could be collusion there. Maybe it's just bad refereeing, or if Josh was here, he'd be very disappointed with the ref. I know he would. He hates referee blunders or anything like that. So, but and then we obviously got we got Eddie Kingston tried to go for his pile driver, but was it Miro kicked out? And then obviously we got a bit where was it Eddie Kingston was trying to throw Miro into the exposed turnbuckle, but the ref got in the way. I mean, is there collusion there? Is it just pure like trying to do the right thing? I don't know, but it did help Miro get the advantage when he hit a low blow behind the ref's back. Then he hit two double super kicks, double super kicks right into the face of Eddie Kingston, and gets the win. I got to be honest, I do like that finish, in the way that he beat him without hitting his finisher or locking in his finisher. That I really like, because it's like, it reminds me of the old days, like you watch enough of Raw and SmackDown and WWF back in 2000. I am slowly getting through, by the way. I will get there eventually. But it's just you always had a bit of someone hit like a power move, or like just hit a power bomb, or just hit a big boot or something. It's not even their finisher, and they still get the win. It just makes the unpredictability that anything can beat you. But I mean, I'll be honest, going in, we wouldn't expect Miro to lose a title. If he's going to lose that title, it's going to be someone. I don't know, nothing against Eddie Kingston. I don't think he's there yet. I think Miro's going to have at least a couple more months. Whoever takes that title off him, it's going to be huge. Wouldn't surprise me if they have, like, maybe because of the whole deal, maybe some of the new signings, maybe I could see Adam Cole maybe winning it. That wouldn't be a bad idea. You obviously had Bryan, Punk, the usual suspects. I mean, personally, if I was them, I would love to see Hangman Adam Page win the title, just because it'd just be like a nice stepping stone. If they're gonna with that feud with Kenny Omega, gonna extend it, or make sure it's like maybe a couple more months, maybe to Full Gear, to have that kind of moment, maybe having like a little mini title one on the way to that, just to prove his confidence that so go into that match, he's really confident that he's gonna beat Kenny Omega for that title, because we don't know where it's going unless they're going to change their mind. That might happen with these new massive acquisitions they've got. But I think surprisingly good. As always, you always have them big moments. I mean, it's not exactly a match that I would go back to, but that's not because of anything of quality. It's just I have a certain specific like of a match. So, I mean, good. Miro's looking great. Eddie Kingston's always great. Yeah, great opener. Really got the crowd hyped. The first two matches really got the crowd hyped. So, love this match. So, Miro is still your AEW TNT champion. So the next match to talk about is kind of a AEW versus New Japan kind of feel go to it. Obviously it is that match because they're both from separate companies, but I'm talking about Jon Moxley versus Kojima. Again, I think I pronounced that correctly. If I haven't, let me know in the comments. I really am terrible with names. But so this is kind of a match that they kind of had a match, I think, a couple of months ago for the IWGP United States Championship. There was a really good match as well, but it's just, I don't know, it's just, it's weird. It was just a strange match, but it was good. It was pretty decent. But so it's kind of a second match. It seems to be this thing recently that Jon Moxley seems to be kind of going against people that kind of more New Japan, kind of helping New Japan out a bit more. That's no surprise. Obviously, he's a former IWGP United States champion, and obviously his kind of style does kind of work for New Japan, with his kind of his hard brawler, kind of hard hitting against some of the good brawlers they have in New Japan Pro Wrestling. It could totally work. So I get why he's doing it, and it kind of makes it cool. So this is kind of a match that again it was off the radar type thing. It's like a match. Okay, cool. It's one of those things. But I mean, as I said, it really delivered in some ways. It did really fluent. You can see these guys have wrestled a lot because it's obviously their first match. I said I wasn't really wasn't really engaged with it, but this one, it seems like they really like hit second gear when it comes to these with their kind of was it fluentness. It's really good. I really did enjoy it. I mean, you had the bit right at the beginning where you have Kojima wanted to, respect for Jon Moxley, trying to shake his hand, and Moxley being like, he is like a kind of, he does respect you, but he really doesn't care about anyone, so he's like, just gives him a middle finger, and then after that it starts off with a back and forth with the kind of New Japan kind of back and forth, right? So again, the second time in this feud, and the second time in this, or in the 3 matches we've kind of talked about. But this match basically is a lot of forearms, a lot of chops, a lot of clotheslines, a lot of suplex. Very, very reminiscent. Oh, no, that's not the word I'm looking for. Very New Japan. That's what New Japan is. With it kind of like the strong style. Very, very good there. I liked it. We did have a bit where we had, Kojima come back with a nice machine gun chop of his own, and like a nice elbow, like a chop to the back. Then he done like a running knee, and then he went to the top and hit an elbow drop back to back. It was really cool. I mean, just the fluency of it. I mean, the guy's he's like a legend in New Japan. I wish I knew more about him. I really did. Really terrible wrestling fan. I know. Yes, we have this good moment when Kojima kind of hit a DDT on Moxley on the apron. We obviously got Jon Moxley trying to hit his finisher. We obviously didn't lock it in. We obviously had Kojima hit that beautiful brainbuster for a near fall. Then we got some clotheslines, as I said, suplexes, more back and forth stuff. We even got Moxley doing a nice running knee. Then we had Kojima kind of hitting this beautiful cutter out of nowhere for a very, very close near fall. But then we had Jon Moxley kind of hitting, was it bull choke? I think he's won many matches with that. Obviously Kojima got to the ropes with left foot. But then after that, it's kind of a situation where the match kind of ended with the back and forth, a lot of chops, was it elbows, that kind of stuff. And then Moxley kind of like headbutted Kojima, hits one normal Paradise Shift, and then done the elevated kind of lifting up Paradigm Shift to get the win. And yes, and a nice 12-minute fun, good match. Again, it was solid. It was just like, it's not going to blow you away, but I think I've noticed in these matches for when I'm watching it, and obviously I'll talk about more on the other matches, is it felt very, a lot of the matches had those moments that you expect to be like, oh, that's the standout moments for the highlight reels. They did have that. The first match definitely had that. This one had that probably with that, what was it? Well, I can't think of the one. Probably Bane, the one with the apron, or the, elbow drop from the top. I have to stop speaking. But I mean, it was really cool. I am thinking it was a good match. I think it just one again just shows how good. I think Moxley's only lost twice. Probably I think 3 times in the last 2 years. It shows how important they have with him, and obviously wouldn't surprise. I wish. Obviously, I haven't checked the G1. I wish he was in G1 this year, but I don't know if he is. I have to check, but I don't think he can do it. Probably for the travel restrictions are quite, I think, still limited from traveling between. But this is not what this match is going to be remembered for. Obviously, after this, was it Moxley was kind of celebrating the music end, and then we had Suzuki turned up. Not gonna, I think I pronounced that right. I really don't. So he seems like the type of guy that would really hate it if you messed up his name and probably beat the crap out of you. So, but yeah, I mean, I forgot how much that music's really cool. So obviously you had a bit where like the crowd was loving it, because obviously this is a match that I think we never got. I think it was a match we were supposed to get last year, but we never got it. Or a match I don't think I've seen it. I think it has happened, but yeah, I mean, come on, 2 hard-hitting warriors going against each other. This is going to be an amazing match. Obviously, they announced it to be obviously tonight, and on obviously prior to what I'm recording, it's going to be tonight on AEW Dynamite. So that's going to be what a match to do, especially on a TV as well. That's kind of a main event kind of worthy match, to be fair. But obviously got on the win, both exchanges, lots of back and forth, and then we kind of a lot of clotheslines, very kind of like a brawl after the match, and it obviously ended with Suzuki hitting his gory special pile driver to leave Moxley laying there, all embarrassed. And yes, so set up a match that, again, I'm actually really looking forward to tonight. I really can't wait to watch. It's going to be an amazing show. I mean, if they can keep the momentum up they got from this show, it's going to be amazing. But yeah, so good match. I like the ending. It had set up to really cool stuff. Yeah, it's fun. I think I like what they're doing. Moxley at the moment. He's not in anything prominent position, but he's given us kind of the dream matches, because they've got up his Suzuki versus Jon Moxley is, in my opinion, the dream match, and have it on AEW television it's just, they haven't even scratched the surface of the match if we can have it New Japan. I mean, come on, we haven't even touched Kota Ibushi or Okada. They haven't even turned up yet. And when they turn up, the wrestling business has already been blown up to the point of oblivion. That would just blow my mind. I can't wait for that. It's gonna be so good. I like these kind of snippets of like the forbidden door being open, just little bits at a time. It's like, one at a time. Make it last. I like it. So obviously John Moxley got the win, but he didn't get the last laugh. That was for Suzuki, and I cannot wait to see that match on Wednesday. Should be good. So the next match we talk about is for the AEW Women's World Championship with the champion, Britt Baker, going against Kris Statlander. And I'm sure this is the match that's supposed to happen probably before her injury or before the pandemic. I'm sure they had a match before, and I'm sure, I don't know if Statlander ever got her rematch or that match that she's supposed to have, but because of prior commitments didn't work out. But again, it's one of these situations in the women's division at the moment. Britt Baker is absolutely killing it. She's an amazing champion. Love Britt Baker. She seems to be out of all the stars, she's the only one that's standout star in the women's division at the moment. And now she's got the title. Hopefully they have enough time to build up someone to similar level, so whoever takes that title, and then slowly build. They do have a lot of potential in the division, but I knew this was going to be a slightly good match because Statlander is good and Britt Baker's very good, so put them together, they should put a pretty decent, very good match. And I have to admit, it didn't blow me away, but it's very, it was a really good, fun, enjoyable match. Again, it had the moments I was talking about, where it has the big moments, you go, oh my god, that's awesome type moments. They're obviously considered into good to great matches, and I think they really, really prove that there's always potential with the women's division. But let's quickly go into talk about the match in general. At the start, it was very old school kind of, old school wrestling, locks, headlocks, all that kind of stuff. We had a bit where you had both of them trying to hit submissions early. Obviously, I think Britt Baker was trying to go for a submission. Not sure what Statlander's one is, but for both going submissions early makes sense. We did have a funny moment when you had Statlander block him, Britt Baker doing the DMD taunt she does, and obviously done the whole boop on the nose. Probably pronounced that terribly. So that was a nice little moment. Obviously, we had a bit where you had Kris Statlander went to the top. Obviously, she went to turnbuckle. Britt Baker met her there, hit some forearms, and then hit a lovely twisted net breaker off the ropes. Looked beautiful. I mean, come on, Britt Baker's so good. She's so good at what she does. Then we got some sling blades. We got Statlander doing a nice Falcon Arrow sit down slam. Awesome stuff there. We got Britt Baker going for a glove, trying to hit the submission, but obviously Statlander got out. We obviously had finisher attempts. We had superplex from the top. We had Statlander go to the top trying to hit a 450 splash, but Britt Baker moved out of the way. We had a scissors kick by Statlander. We obviously got a beautiful attempt by Statlander to do a platinum moonsault on the outside, but obviously Britt got out of the way, and then we got Britt hit out of nowhere, hitting a curve stomp off the steps onto Statlander. She's out. I mean, she's corking out all the kind of moves that, from certain people. But, and then we had a shocking moment where we got the nearly 10 count move where it's like just about got back and win. We even she knew it was important when Owen Cassidy actually said words. You know it's important. I mean, come on. You know it's important when he doesn't speak at all. But, obviously she finally got back in the ring. We got Britt Baker hitting a Powerbomb Sunrise. Obviously, that's a homage to her boyfriend, Adam Cole, baby. As we obviously now, with hindsight, we knew that was a nice little tease to make us think about Adam Cole, obviously, for his big return at the end. Spoiler, it's been 3 days, you should know by now. But, after that, got a 2 count. They went and then hit a curb stop again. Baker, very Seth Rollins. I don't know if that's any relation or trying to stick it to him or anything like that. Hit that, got a 2. Then after that, Statlander just kept kicking out. At this point, she got fed up. Got the glove, locked in the lockjaw submission move. She passed out, Statlander, and Britt Baker is still your AEW Women's Champion. And no one expected Statlander to win this. Britt Baker is going to have probably a very long title reign that I'm not bat against, because they might do similar to what NXT UK Championship is, where when you have that championship, you're having it for a while, and it kind of gives other people time to build up, that they totally did with Dragunov with that one. So maybe that's what they're doing here. Again, it works. Sometimes you just need time to build up stars, and I think they've got potential. We'll just talk about it more when we get to the Casino Battle Royal. But yeah, great match. I mean, I think it's never expecting to be 5-star, but with these two, these are the more very finished, polished kind of wrestlers, if you know what I mean. They're the ones that kind of like got their craft down a bit more than maybe some others in the division. There's not a knock on them. So you knew it was going to be kind of a good match, and I think they've had a match before, and that was pretty decent. So yeah, I mean, I like it. I mean, I'm interested to see if they have a rematch. Don't we do those, do they? So we've got Britt Baker. I don't know who our challenger will be next. Obviously, we know it's going to be. We know who's going to be next, but sometimes just because they win it doesn't mean it's their next challenger in AEW that I kind of like. So, but yeah, liking Britt Baker's, whole thing at the moment. She's really cool. This match was really good. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, should be really, really fun. And yeah, I look forward. I'm just hoping this time next year the women's division is going to be even better. I cannot wait to see what happens. But yeah, there's still some work to do. But again, these couple of matches really do help elevate the division, and especially from certain incomings that we'll talk about later on. Should help elevate the division a bit higher than it is at the moment. So yeah, Britt Baker is still your champion. So next on the list to talk about is probably one of the more highlighted matches that was on the card, and probably one of 4 I mentioned at the top of the show is obviously the steel cage match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships with the champions, the Young Bucks, going against the Lucha Brothers in a match that we just knew it was going to be good. I was going in knowing that it was going to be outstanding, probably because every match has been outstanding. I mean, the early feuds they had at the start of AEW, and I think that ladder match they had, I think it was all out. Might have been at Full Gear. I can't remember. But yeah, those ladder matches were outstanding. It's something about, they're both similar in style. They're both small still, and they just seems to be able to click on so many levels when it comes to the matches. And I mean, the only problem with this match is it's so many cool stuff. It's going to be so hard to keep in touch with it. I mean, I struggled. I really struggled to keep in touch note-wise on this. I tried my best, but there's probably a good chance I'm probably going to miss some really cool spots. I've tried to get the best ones, but yeah, this is such an outstanding match. I mean, the steel cage environment obviously will stop all the kind of shenanigans that the Elite has had recently with, the Good Brothers coming in and helping out the Young Bucks get victories, and obviously Kenny Omega's the same as well. So you knew when they put the steel cage stipulation, they've had the title since for nearly a while now, so I think there's time for a change. And obviously I think there was a situation with the tag team championships have been kind of overshadowed where the Young Bucks don't need them anymore, if you know what I mean. They don't need them. They're already involved in a very heated feud with the Elite and the Kenny Omega stuff. They don't need the tag team titles. They can still do their stuff. So them titles need to be lost, but need to be lost in the right way. Not just get rid of them, that's it. And obviously, this was a perfect example. Obviously, Lucha Brothers got a title shot after going through many other tag teams in a tag team turmoil kind of tournament. They do love tournaments. I love tournaments, so it works. So yeah, I just knew that they were going to win here. But yeah, as I said, what a match! I mean, we just got to get stuck into this because I could talk about how great this match is all day, but let's quickly talk about the highlights, the big points of the match. Obviously, at first we've got to talk about a really cool entrance by Lucha Bros. Really cool. I love the kind of outfit they've got. Really stepping up the heritage type of Lucha Brothers. That's really cool. Obviously, we had Nick Jackson had a weird beard. I don't know where he got that from. No idea. I mean, I don't watch every week as much as I should, but I would have noticed that, right? Maybe he's just quicker growing beards. Maybe he's similar to Kurt Angle when he said he lost his hair. He used miracle growth that made him grow his hair back in a week. Maybe he's got that. I don't know. I'm talking about nonsense now. But yeah, the cool. We're obviously back and forth fighting as you expect from both of them at the start. You had the Young Bucks trying to escape early on, but obviously we had a nice Phoenix hitting like a springboard drop kick on the back of the Bucks, went into the cage. Then we got Penta with kicks to Matt. Then we got Phoenix got a hold of Matt and kind of Phoenix hitting a nice hammer run off the top, as you expect. We got later on in the match we had this cool thing where kind of Nick Jackson was, I think it was Nick or Matt Jackson was locked in the sharpshooter, and obviously he used a kind of assist like in between the ropes. Looked really cool. The big kind of talking point was the bit where we had Callis or kind of was it Cutler was given a bag, or we found that out, and if you're being the Elite, watched that yesterday, funny enough. Was it a bag, chucked it over, and then we found out it had some sneakers or shoes that have thumbtacks on the bottom of them. I mean, it makes sense as one of their signature move is the super kick, so makes sense. Obviously we had a bit where at this point was it Phoenix was out of it, and it looks like they were gonna attack Phoenix, but then they were just about to hit the super kick or throw Phoenix into that boot with the tacks But you gotta love the brotherly love here when you've got Penta just like standing in front of him, just say, "Don't do my brother," mouth bleeding with blood all over. But then it just didn't stop. So then he got Matt super kicked Penta with the thumbtack shoe, and then Penta stood up in front of him, and then Matt super kicked, and then Matt super kicked Penta, and then Penta was sent into the Matt shoe again and the thumbtacks as well. But then obviously they got back into it, and obviously then we got a situation where they got the thumbtacks were hitting the Young Bucks as well, so back and forth. Then we got some BTE triggers. We had that almost got the match won. We also had this cool thing where all four men hitting power drivers on the apron. I think like the older brothers were hitting the younger brothers on the apron. Really cool stuff there. We got an amazing avalanche Canadian destroyer from the top by Penta. No surprise there. We obviously got multiple super kicks. I think we've got 8 or 9 for the entire match. Then we had the Lucha did a great like double team power drive type move, but then the Young Bucks got the save. Then we got Phoenix climbing to the top, right to the top of the cage, very like Jeff Hardy kind of style. And then obviously we got Matt went up to the ring, but Penta kicked him. Kicked him down? And then we had a situation where you'll see it in the picture I put up. It's just like a nice crossbody dive from the top, and that was like took out all three men. And then Penta got right back up, hit got the assisted power driver on one of the Young Bucks. 1, 2, 3. And we have new AEW World Tag Team Champions. I mean, it was a huge title change. The crowd were up for it. I mean, I said an outstanding match. So good. It's definitely, well, I think I saw like 9. It's the 10 out of 10. Probably 5 stars if you're going to go for the Melcher. Probably 6 out of 10 or 6 out of 5. I don't know how he does his ratings. But yeah, I mean, I don't expect anything less. The Young Bucks, when they can find the right opponents, can put on 9 times amazing matches. I don't get why people don't rate them as a tag team. They say, oh, too much flips. Yeah, they do, but sometimes they do. But when it works, it works. I mean, this is so good. I mean, it had the story, it had the brutality, it had the kind of highlight reel type moments. Most of the stuff they did was highlight moments. I missed out so many awesome segments and back and forth. It's so good. And yeah, I mean, as I said before, like obviously with the buy-in, there are a lot of good tag teams there. So now the tag team titles are off the Young Bucks. Now I think it would be nice to see the tag division kind of focus on their own and not being lumped in to the kind of main story with the Elite. To see what we can do. I mean, I like the Jurassic Express having a shot at them. Could that be a good match? Obviously, I would love to see again like another team of like Hyper 2. Would love to see them go out again, because I honestly think they're obviously not misused because AEW don't really do that, but I would love to see more of them in more prominent tag teams situations. Really, they're really good. I love kind of very similar high impact, kind of high intensity style. They did have a match at Young Bucks when they were face, but love to see it again. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I just think it was just a good moment. It was bound to happen eventually. The Young Bucks have had them titles too long. And now they can focus on being with the Kenny Omega stuff, and then now the tag team division can maybe try and build up a bit more, because they're still good, but I think they need a bit more focus on like just people in a tag division instead of being on the outside. So yeah, I mean, Lucha Brothers, love it, they won it. So about time. They probably should have. I don't know if that makes them tired when it comes to victories. I think they won the overall feud that's happened over the last 2 years. So yeah, should be good. I loved it. I mean, again, I probably haven't described it very well, but definitely check it out. It's definitely up there on match of the year contender. It's going to be it's going to be up there talked about at the end of the year. So yeah, definitely check it out. And yeah, awesome match. Cannot wait to talk about the rest of the show. But before we dive straight into talking about the other 5 matches left to talk about, yeah, here's a word from our sponsor. Hope you enjoy it, and speak to you in a bit.
Today's episode is brought to you by HelloFresh. Do you feel like you are stuck in a dinner rut? With HelloFresh, you get fresh pre-measured ingredients with mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. Skip all those trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. You can now enjoy cooking and get dinner on the table in 30 minutes or less. With over 25 recipes to choose from each week, there is something for everyone to enjoy. All recipes are designed and tested by professional chefs and nutritional experts to ensure deliciousness and simplicity. Go to the link in our show notes to get $80 off, including free shipping on HelloFresh. the #1 meal kit.
So yeah, we are back. If you want to learn more from our ad break and more about the deal that's on that ad, it'll be in the description below, as well as on any podcast platforms. So yeah, check that out. So yeah, so let's go straight back into talking about AEW All Out. Next match we want to talk about is the 21-woman Casino Battle Royale, with 21 women fighting out to get a shot at the AEW Women's World Champion Britt Baker at a time of her choosing. I'm assuming that's how it works. Yeah, this is a kind of a lot of women in this match, as you can guess. A lot of the way it usually works, this match is a situation you have four decks. You've got diamonds, hearts, clubs. Stuff's in a deck of a casino, and they each get picked out, and they all group of 5, and they all come out one by one, and then you have a joker card at the end. It's usually a surprise. It's just always good. I like the way they kind of, in the Royal Rumble, they have a situation where they always have like 3 or 4 surprises out of nowhere, but at least you're kind of expecting a surprise. That's kind of good and bad marketing wise, I guess, but we've already got, it makes sense because it means everyone likes a surprise, let's be honest. Yeah, it's kind of what this match was. Again, it was didn't have a lot of beats to beat like kind of stuff, like it was, that's cool. A lot of it was just quick eliminations, a lot of stuff. I mean, we had was it Sky? I think she was like the kind of Chicago home native, so she got eliminated first. There was kind of a situation like, that's nice. So she got eliminated first. We obviously had like Nyla Rose, Jay Cargill eliminated many people in this match as well. We did have a bit of revenge for was it Anna Jay, who eliminated the Bunny. I'm sure she's the one that took her out. I'm not 100% sure, but yes, she took it out. We obviously had Penelope Ford. Obviously, she eliminated her. Everyone didn't like that. But yeah, but the big story of this match was kind of like a situation of who was the Joker. We obviously found out that was Ruby Soho, or as we used to be called, Ruby Riott. I'm sure JR said it during the match, but that was kind of the big reveal of this match. Obviously, she got was it released from WWE a couple of months ago? I think. Wouldn't surprise you if they have 90-day no compete clause thing, whatever. But yeah, she's back, and yeah, she was on fire in this match. She just came in, went, as you expect from what she has, all momentum, all that kind of stuff. We had obviously after that we had all kinds of women. We had this really cool spear by Red Velvet that she done earlier on. That I just want to point out. My God, that woman can do a spear. It's really good. But let's be honest, we ended with the final 3 being Nyla Rose, Thunder Rosa, and Ruby Soho. Of course, obviously we had Nyla Rose. As always in these matches, she kind of always is in the bottom final 3. She doesn't really, because she's like kind of the monster, like like the kind of like in every battle royal, the Big Show or Paul White used to be like, he's probably going to win. Because he's big and he's got strength, so good chance it's going to take something to get rid of him. But yeah, obviously at this point, obviously she was in control, but then obviously Thunder Rosa eliminated Nyla Rose. She's out, so I've got to be honest, it is nice that Nyla Rose is not. She seems to be in the title scene a lot more than I would like. The whole doesn't sound bad, but it's just like, it seems to be she's been in the title scene for so long. It's just like since like 2 years now. It's like she hasn't really had a feud that's kind of been other than the title sometimes. Obviously when she's not there, of course. But yeah, so obviously after she got eliminated, we had the final 2. We had Ruby Soho and Thunder Rosa. Personally, I mean, if it wasn't Ruby Soho, I probably would have went Thunder Rosa because I do like her style of wrestling. She's really good in the ring. But it all kind of culminated in the kind of they found a way over the top rope and on the apron, kind of fighting back and forth, and then we had a situation where Ruby, I keep saying Ruby Riott, it can't be helped, knees Rosa holding onto the middle rope and teasing a slam onto the apron, but then hit a jumping kick to Rosa's head and she bumped onto the floor. Boom. 22-minute match. We have a new number 1 contender in Ruby Soho. In her debut, has now got a chance to go against Britt Baker. When I'm assuming, wouldn't surprise if they do it on Rampage, just because they really want to build it up, or not next pay-per-view, but it's going to be a couple of weeks. But yeah, on her debut, I mean, a lot of people can sit there and say, well, another WWE star's come. But if it's one thing, Ruby Soho has got kind of she's recognised in some ways, not mainstream. I don't know about mainstream, but she's a name people know and there's a face that people know. So I think the women's division will definitely benefit from having that. If there's any free agents to WWE that they've released AW for the women's, definitely should go for it, because I just think they need what I've been saying for a while now. They need kind of like the big names to complement the kind of young stars, to kind of mix of both. the women's division, it was always just full of people that a lot of people didn't know. So it's like it feels like a division that needs way more time than maybe 2 years. It takes 4 or 5. I said before, the NXT one took around about that time to build up. But you need the names and you need the time. And they're going to get there. But I think people like Ruby Soho being there is going to really elevate and kind of, because he's competent, really good in the ring. I've been intrigued. I don't know much more what she did beforehand, but before WWE, so I don't know. But it'd be interesting to see. But yeah, again, I have to admit, I didn't go too much detail into it because obviously a lot of this matches, a lot of just eliminations. And obviously I didn't, and also because I didn't really want to mess up the names, because I'm terrible with names for a guy that does a podcast. Very terrible, I know. but yeah, I mean, it would just be interesting to see that match. But yeah, I think that's name recognition that the women's division sorely needs, and I'm intrigued to see what they do with her. So yeah, so at some point we're going to get Ruby Soho versus Britt Baker for the World Women's title, AEW World Women's title, and yeah, should be good, and I cannot wait. So yeah, so Ruby Soho is the winner of the Casino Battle Royale. So yeah, so next we talk about the kind of another of the big high-profile big matches that they kind of promoted in this show. Obviously, it is the match between Chris Jericho and MJF, with the stipulation that if Jericho loses, he must retire from in-ring competition in AEW. Again, this feud has been going on ever since, obviously, MJF betrayed the Inner Circle and kind of joined, created his own group, The Pinnacle. Again, I do not know if they're still going or if they've just done a thing where they're separating each other at the moment and doing their own thing, and then they come back together. But yeah, obviously it's a match that kind of it's a grudge match, a lot of back and forth. I mean, Jericho's really used this to try to build up MJF. I think he's got they said 2, but I think 3 successive wins against Jericho. That's like unheard of. You just don't see that unless they've really really want to do something with this guy. I mean, MJF is amazingly. He's got the perfect asshole dickhead that you just want someone to beat the crap out of. He's just so good at it. So you got to respect it. So he's just got that punch in the face that's what heels are supposed to be, where you want someone to beat the crap out of them. And I think Jericho's done a good job to make us really want to beat the crap out of MJF. And we definitely got a bit more ammunition at the start of this match, with obviously a false countdown, the famous countdown from Chris Jericho's old thing when he was in entrance to WWE. We're thinking, oh, it'd be one of those. And then no, it's just MJF coming out in a kind of, royal robe, just trolling the hell out of us and really being pissed off. He even had a moment when he had an argument with a couple of the fans at the beginning, at the stage. That's, again, what wrestling is. It's really cool. It's really cool. I love it. But obviously, Jericho had a cool entrance of his own. Obviously, he's Fozzy guitarist. Came down, just him playing the guitar, playing the Fozzy, the Judas. That was really cool. I love the way they're creating creative ways to play his theme. Obviously, he had that bit where he couldn't, last time MJF, he couldn't play Judas, so they had the crowd, they encouraged the crowd to learn all the lyrics and sing every last word, and it sounded amazing. So, very similar there. And obviously, during this match, you kind of saw that these guys know each other pretty damn well at this point. You expect a lot from this match. Obviously, MJF worked in that arm a lot, obviously, because he injured it during that big fall at the Blood and Guts match. We had a lot of that. We had the kind of big thing as well. Jericho was working on MJF's back. After, obviously, later on in the match, we had a powerbomb attempt. We'll talk about it in a bit. But he had kind of, after that, he sold the hell out of it. MJF really was selling it. We had early on, we had Jericho trying to go for the walls. But obviously, we had MJF counter it into a nice little kind of pin attempt. Then we started fighting in the crowd. All that kind of stuff. Then we had MJF, getting hit by, I don't know what it is, I think it's like I don't know what it was, like a pole or some sort of thing. I can't think at the top of my head what it is, but he just folded it on his back of his neck, and it's just like the way he threw it and landed on him. It's like, luckily that's fake. Hoping that's fake, because no, you're dead. The weight on that would break your neck. Just saying, just don't do it. Yes, we had that. So obviously Jericho was in control early. Then we had, obviously, later on in the match, the kind of big kind of thing that really turned the tide of the match, really, is you had, obviously, MJF hitting a heat seeker on DDT that sent Jericho's head into the apron, and obviously, which gives you just got back into the ring. I think a number 10 count at this point. I think that's what he did it. And MJF doing something that's very unlike MJF in this, where he done a kind of went for like a springboard moonsault that really got really worse. Like, that's not MJF. He's very old school. He does old school stuff. He doesn't do the high flying kind of. He's more of a Jim Cornette star. Doesn't like that kind of stuff. But yeah, he did it. Jericho moved out of the way, And obviously MJF landed on his feet, and Jericho I think it tried to go for him again, but obviously Jericho caught MJF and hit a powerbomb onto the apron, very Kevin Owens style, very good. And obviously after that, as he said earlier, working on his back for most of it, even as MJF was really selling the hell. We had a lot of biting during this whole show that I didn't get. We got a little of MJF biting Jericho. We even had Jericho hitting all his old moves, of the line. So I think we had a couple of cold breakers in midair. I think even was MJF done I think a cold breaker on Jericho as well. So we had a lot of that kind of stuff. But the kind of the way the match kind of ended was, or the way it kind of like the ending segment. Obviously at this point Wardlow came out and Jake Hager came out to stop him. They fought. Obviously the ref was totally distracted by what was going there. Kind of cliche, but it kind of works. Obviously, and then Jericho MJF grabbed the bat. Floyd, Jericho's bat, hit him round the head, and then MJF hits the Judas effect on Jericho, insult to injury, gets the pin, 1, 2, 3. But that's not all. Obviously, what we don't mention is just before the 3 count, Jericho put his foot on the ropes. And normally, this would just be a screw finish, where it's a situation where the ref didn't see it, the referee's decision's final, and then we can have like a rematch and a rematch. But because it's the final fighters they've named this feud, you kind of had to do a kind of ref was actually paying attention for a change. That's actually quite refreshing. So obviously after that, MJF was kind of MJF was kind of celebrating being like that. And then obviously another ref came out and said to was it Audrey Edwards, yes her name, came to her and said like, foot on the ropes. And they just double checked it. Again, wasn't surprised they took this from VAR. It's kind of funny. Went to check and then found out that Jericho's foot was on the bottom rope. And yes, the match was restarted with with how MJF was not happy with this, as you expect. But again, it works. Normally, I'll be a bit annoyed, but it works because MJF is so. You don't want him to win. When it goes against him, you just love it. He was annoyed. I love it. Obviously, Jericho, after this, Jericho took advantage of this, obviously with the confusion from MJF. A nice roll out for 2. Then we had MJF apply the Soul to the Earth, that armbar he does on Jericho's left arm. But Jericho was able to counter, roll out for 2. Then we got, an attempt to guide the Wolves again by Jericho. But then obviously MJF was really selling the back. But at this point, he did lock it in the end, and we really, really locked it in. He even tried the old kind of line, kind of like way he like put his bend, not like the way he used to do it when he used to bend like a Boston Crab. The bit when he puts his knee on the back of the neck. That really puts more leverage on it. MJF was just screaming, agonising in pain, almost got to the ropes, but MJF tapped out. Yes, I said that right. MJF tapped out, and it was his second loss. I'm sure it's his only second loss. Obviously, the first one being against John Moxley for the world title. But 21-minute match, really fun. I think it's the best one they've done, because obviously I wasn't a fan of their first one, but I think they finally found their groove in this, and obviously left the best to last. And Jericho, I don't think was, because they put a stipulation in because he was doing a lot of commentary, so you could understand. You could see them doing that thing where it's like, probably it would work. I can see it doing a very Cody thing, where with the world title situation. But but it was good. It had enough intrigue to get me set up for it. It was really cool. MJF losing again, it'll work perfectly because he's got the perfect heel, ammunition, saying I won. Crooked refs, and he's got. It's a typical deluded heel. MJF is perfect at it. It's a great finish. It's a really good match, very pay-per-view worthy kind of stuff. It's a nice creative way when they do it. It can work when they do kind of false finishes. When it doesn't, for some reason, it just doesn't feel forced. I think I really liked it. Really liked the ending. It was really fun. And I don't know what to do next. MJF needs to at some point probably. I don't know. He's got to move on at some point. Wouldn't surprise me if he tries to go for a title or go against someone like, Jungle Boy or something again, or maybe go against some other talent. I don't know where he's going to go from here, but I'm intrigued. Unless they do continue the kind of feud with the Pinnacle and so I think it's got to a point where they need to leave it be for a while. But Jericho can do whatever they want. I mean, obviously with CM Punk, Danny Bryan, all that kind of stuff. Maybe he can get involved in that kind of stuff as well. Obviously MJF can get involved. The idea of maybe doing the idea of having maybe MJF versus CM Punk. Oh, I mean, that's a match. Two great talkers gone back to back. I mean, come on, that's just take my money now. That'd be an amazing match. But yeah, definitely up for that. But yeah, Jericho is still going to be wrestling in AEW, and MJF has got his second loss in his whole career. He has in AEW. So yeah, I look forward to seeing where this is going. So talking of Punk, let's go into his first match in 7 years when he faced off against Darby Allan. Yes, obviously it was a match. Oh, I mean, it was the best return, the last great wrestling return that there ever has been, ever will be. It's the reaction, everything about CM Punk's return was just perfection. It's what wrestling should be. It's the way it should be. And obviously when he came back, it was never believed it until I saw it, and it's really made people think, oh, AEW are serious players now. So yeah, so obviously it was kind of, for me, I don't know if Josh would be the same, I guess we all were in some ways, going into obviously this pay-per-view. It kind of, for me, overshadowed a lot of the matches, because this is the match I think a lot of people are looking forward to, especially in Chicago. I mean, it's huge. I mean, we wanted to see if CM Punk's crew got it. We wanted to see what he does against Darby Allin. Obviously, I do love Darby Allin as well. He's right with the kind of thing we said, if I was a 15-year-old, Darby Allin would be my favourite wrestler. I like that. And obviously, if you see enough interviews with CM Punk, he seems like it's going to work with a lot of the younger talent. That, again, I'm up for, because CM Punk, I don't know, it's so great to see him back. I'm sorry, I sound like a giddy little fanboy here, but I just love it. It's so good to have CM Punk back. But, yeah, so I mean, it was kind of set up where it was kind of rumoured this match would happen. It obviously is happening. A nice little, nothing, the good thing about this match, it wasn't complicated. He just CM Punk's got proof that he still got it. Darby Allin has got to prove that he can still hang with someone as quality as CM Punk. So they both have stuff to prove. And I kind of felt that in the match, really. But yeah, let's actually go dive in talking about the match. Because I could talk about how much awesome that CM Punk's back, but let's talk about the actual match, because put more respect on the match. But obviously one thing, CM Punk's got new ring gear. He's not wearing trunks anymore. He's using trousers now. A lot of people didn't like it, but like anything in life, eventually I get used to it. My first reaction was it reminded me similar to Jericho's when he used to wear pants. He used to wear he didn't wear anything he used to wear pants, and then all of a sudden he went to the trousers. He used to wear the trousers, then he went to the pants. Yeah, I got that completely wrong for some reason. But yeah, so obviously everyone's like, oh, that was weird, but then you get used to it. If Punk thinks that cool, I think he needs to change it up a little bit. But yeah, I think his first match back, come on, man. I mean, if you're going to crap him on his attire, come on. Please, come on. Anyway, but the first match is very, match style, basic wrestling at start. Very kind of slow pace, kind of shoulder tackles. Very kind of Punk trying to slow the pace down, because obviously he knew Darby Allin's was going to be younger and probably more speed and pace. So obviously his thing for the match was trying to slow the man down. Obviously we had bits with Darby Allin locking in an armbar, but then obviously you had Darby Allin and going for a roll up as well. Obviously CM Punk at this point took control. We had Punk, the bit where it really shows how ridiculous Darby Allin is basically when he whipped him. Punk whipped Darby Allin into the corner, but then because he put so much oomph on it, Darby Allin went through the middle rope, hit the post and went out. I mean, come on, that guy is not going to survive very long with those kind of moves. The guy is mental. But yeah, well, obviously we had that. We also had a bit with an early go to GTS attempt by Punk on Darby Allin, but he was able to get out. We had really cool a sunset cold red by Darby Allin and Punk for a 2. We also got Punk went for the suplex on top, and then but Darby was able to counter it and land to get a pin for another 2 attempt. Near the end, we had a bit where Punk finally hit the go to sleep, but the momentum knocked Darby Allin outside the ring, and he wasn't able to get back. Darby Allin just got back into it again, similar to Jericho stuff and the Statlander stuff earlier on. Similar stuff, and just get foot before the 10 count. We got an awesome thing where got CM Punk went for the GTS again, but Darby Allin counters. We had Darby Allin do some running suicide dives on the outside. We even had him do a swanton bomb off the apron, and kind of stand with Punk standing on the floor. Very awesome stuff here. We got Darby Allin gesturing for the GTS to kind of mock CM Punk going to get the coffin drop. But yeah, it's really cool, very Undertaker thing where it's like literally, it's great. You should see it. It's basically what he did. It's basically he went for the coffin drop, but like CM Punk just stood up like the Undertaker would, on it, stood up. That kind of stuff, and obviously he's just laughing, like kind of said, yeah, I did do that. But then obviously with all that cockiness, Darby Allin was able to do like a bit like a hook the leg to get a pin, but obviously CM Punk came out. Then he obviously got Punk, went for the go to sleep, and then got out of it and was able to hit another Last Supper attempt to pin, really cradle kind of pin. Was it Punk was able to get out as CM Punk came back. Leg lariat to knock Darby Allin down, and then CM Punk ran into the boot of Darby Allin. Darby Allin went for a move, but then Punk held him. GTS by Punk, 1, 2, 3, and in his first match in 7 years, he gets a win, and no one looked bad here. Punk shows that he still got it. Darby Allin shows that he can still go with someone like that. Again, it just proves how good Darby Allin is. I mean, you could say there were parts when it kind of felt like Darby Allin was kind of, I never thought I'd say these words, carry the match a little bit. But maybe because the way he did, like I like the idea that CM Punk was slowing the pace down to his level. Very, that kind of stuff. Obviously, Darby Allin, it's all about his speed and pace. So I get why they're doing it. But yeah, he had a nice bit. But he had a nice bit at the end when Sting came out. I think said it would shake Punk's hand if he wins. We had that nice moment. Then he had like a very babyface thing where, picks up Darby Allin and then kind of fist bumps him and, shakes his hand as well. A bit of respect. End of a match. 16 minutes. Fun. It was great. It was everything I would want it to be, this match. Punk is just, you always had that if he's still good. And I still think he's still got, the beautiful thing is when he gets better and he wrestles more, he's going to be back to the best again, but best in the world. But at the moment, it was a very, very good debut match back. It was very good. I mean, I just think it's a perfect example of everyone looks great. Norman looks weak in here. Darby Allin still looks like a star. CM Punk still looks like a star. Everyone looks great. And yeah, I cannot wait. I'm still up for, again, CM Punk. Be interesting to see if what he does next. Obviously, he is must see at the moment. Might have changed with what we talk about in the main event in a little bit. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. I mean, I've got to be honest, really good match. It's just great to see CM Punk in the wrestling ring again. So I think it's going to be a lot of, every time he's in the ring, it's going to be amazing. So I think we just got to as Jericho would say, drink it in, man. And just go with the flow, man. So good to see Punk back. I'm so looking forward to see who goes again next. My money's on MJF. I just think it'd be a great, but I don't know if that's later on because obviously I don't want MJF to go in a spiral of losing matches. So hopefully that's not a thing. But yeah, look forward to see what CM Punk does next. Darby Allin's going to be Darby Allin. So yeah, but yeah, it's great to see Punk back. Please. And I can't wait to see more. It's going to be so good. Oh, God. AEW Genius is getting CM Punk back. So happy right now. Anyway, so next match we're going to talk about, again, it's going to be a very short conversation match because this match was quite short. Obviously, I'm talking about the match between Paul Wight, returning, or aka the formerly known as The Big Show, going against QT Marshall in a match that was kind of set up because QT Marshall was not happy with Tony Schiavone saying bad things about him. Kind of, and then he kind of brought his son involved. Big Show, I'm going to call him, it's Paul Wight. It's going to be really weird to get used to saying that. Came back, said, helped beat up the Factory, and then obviously said he's got a match against QT Marshall, and I wasn't looking forward to it in some sense, no one was, but then what I like about what they've done is they knew no one was up for this match, they just made it short, sweet. No one wants no offense to QT Marshall, but he's not exactly an interesting character. He's got a thing at basically the Jobber Squad, so it'd be very good to feed him to like the big boys to try and make them look good. It's not a bad spot. He's still on telly, so it's not a worst idea. But yeah, this match was basically Paul Wight got in there, basically went in, dominated him early, a lot of punches, a lot of chops. I think like 3 or 4 to the chest. First I think the crowd were up for it, but then it kind of got to a point. We did have QT Marshall kind of doing a diamond cut at one point. And Paul Wight avoided it. Then obviously his goons came back in. Paul Wight beat the crap out of him, as you expect. He had QT Marshall go to the top, trying to hit I don't know what, axe handle probably, but Paul Wight caught him in midair, hit a choke slam, 1, 2, 3, yeah, and Paul Wight gets his first win in AEW. And yeah, exactly what it needed to be. Don't know what more to really say about this match, really. It was basically what it needed to be. Paul Wight attracts his first match back, first match at AEW. No, people like seeing QT Marshall beat, not because of anything other than just, I don't think a lot of people are loving his stuff at the factory. So yeah, everyone wins it. It's good to see Paul Wight back. I don't know how many matches he's got left. I don't know if this might be the last one or what's his deal. I mean, because I've got a feeling he's going to do more commentary, but I think he's going to be selective in who he goes against. But again, no harm in this one. Big Show's it's going to be hard. Even JR's hard, even to say it now, because he calls him Big Show. I'm sure he did during the commentary. That's what we said anyway. But yeah, boy gets a win. I wouldn't surprise if they do like a celebrity match at some point, because I remember watching an interview with Paul Wight with Chris Van Vliet, follower of our podcast, by the way. He followed us. That I think's really cool. But yeah, I think he said something about Shaq. Obviously now Shaq did have a match, so again, maybe we finally get that match with Shaq versus Paul Wight or Big Show. Again, the way they both look could actually be an entertaining match. So, but yeah, it's great to see him back. Great to see him ring. He looks great. Everyone wins. It was short. It was sweet. It got everyone kind of calmed down for a bit. Obviously after the CM Punk stuff. Before we get to the main event, which is of course the World Championship match, the AEW World Championship match with the reigning champion, Kenny Omega, going against the Impact Wrestling World Champion, Christian Cage. Obviously, I say that with, obviously, as we know, Christian Cage won that title off Kenny Omega in the debut of AEW Rampage, with a bit of a distraction from the Young Bucks was enough to distract the ref. They used a chair, and obviously he hit a kill switch on Kenny Omega on the chair to get the win. So he got the Impact World title. So he goes in with a bit of momentum, knowing that he can beat him. I kind of like it. But yeah, I mean, that's a beautiful thing. Kenny Omega can lose, but it's like he still looks strong, because it's like he loses one title, but he's still got the main one. So it's kind of cool. And obviously it means Christian Cage is now an Impact. So again, would do them wonders. So yeah, I mean, I think at first we were all thinking the main event would be Hangman Adam Page. The way they were setting it up at a point where they were going, but wouldn't surprise me because of like CM Punk and Danny Bryan all coming in. They kind of went, yeah, if you do it, it's going to be overshadowed, so maybe not now. So they kind of put it on the back burner. I still think it's going to happen at Full Gear, or we're going to have it at maybe that big Madison Square Garden, or that New York show they're doing. Huge one there. That would make sense, but I would love to do it at Full Gear, because it'd be like full circle. I don't want to go on bad puns there. But yeah, so obviously we've got Christian Cage. Obviously he's unbeaten at this point. So he, I think like 12-0. So he's looking good. So he actually earned the shot in some ways. But it's a match that I wasn't 100% looking forward to. But you knew it was going to be a good match, and it was in some ways. It really was a very, very excellent match. Obviously, at the photo, was it straight out from the gate? We had Kenny Omega trying to go for V-triggers on, trying to go for a V-trigger on Christian Cage, but he was able to get out of the way, and obviously then Christian tried to hit the kill switch, but then Kenny Omega was able to get away. Trying to go for their kind of big moves early on. Then we got, Kenny Omega hits a Hurricanrana on Christian Cage. It was awesome. They go to the outside. We had a cool thing where Christian Cage done a crossbody on Kenny Omega on the outside. But through most of the match, we got to the big point that kind of confused a lot of people, but I kind of get why he did it. It's obviously Kenny Omega got some tables, but he done it in a strange way where Christian was on the floor on the outside. He brings the table out, but he doesn't set it up. He just drags it over Christian, and then he goes to the top, and it's a double stomp on him, breaking the table. From reviews I've heard, they say it's not a DQ match, but if you watch enough in New Japan, you know that it's kind of how they do it. The ref gives them leeway. If you don't do it in the ring, it's fine, I guess. I mean, how many matches have I seen where someone's put a table? But I mean, if you don't know much about New Japan rules, then yeah, I can see that'd be a bit, well, isn't that DQ? What's the rules here? But refs are quite lenient. They took that from New Japan. But yeah, so obviously after that we had a situation where it was a good pace to start the match. Obviously we had a bit where the funny bit when Kenny Omega was trying to do that, his famous kind of jump on the barricade and hit his moonsault, but he tried it at first and he slipped, But I kind of like the way he just like shrugging it off, like, yeah. And he done it. He jumped on, done it again, hit it beautifully. But I love the way normally that's on Botchamania if they're still allowed to do that, by the way. But that's a botch there. But he recovered well. He's the best bout machine. What do you expect? Nothing to expect from the great Kenny Omega. We had cool bits at some point when he came back in the ring. You had Kenny Omega hitting running V triggers. I think he had three at one point, like 3 or 4 Snapdragon suplexes on Christian. At this point, we even had like him do the bang signal and hit one in the middle. And, hit another. It basically had a situation where he just hit so many. He was going through V-trigger, Snapdragon, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, then after that, we had another table spot. I don't know if it's just, I can understand 1, but 2, again, the refs, it's a bit strange. But anyway, obviously, they're both on the apron here at this point. Obviously, we had, on the apron? Obviously, we had Kenny Omega trying to do, like, the thing they never do, where they, that German suplex off the apron. They couldn't do, because obviously it probably would break their neck. So, then it kind of twisted into kind of, he tried to do a Snapdragon. Christian tried to go for a kill switch off the apron onto the table. Then obviously we had Kenny Omega tried to go for the one-winged angel, and obviously Christian countered. But then obviously Christian hit a spear, like his his best friend Edge, speared off the apron and went through that table. And my God, it looked beautiful. Obviously after that, we brought him back in the ring and he hit, I think, 1, 2 very impactful spears on the ribs. Obviously they would hurt at this point for a 2 count. Then we had a bit where we had Christian go to the top, trying to go for a frog splash. Then Kenny Omega blocked it, put the knees up in the ribs, still working on the ribs. But then KO was kind of back was hurt at this point, where Christian's kind of ribs were hurting. So a lot of both injured, whose pain's going to endure. When they're going to get to the point when who's going to win, basically, because of the injuries. We had a Christian try to lock in the clover leaf on Kenny Omega. Then, as you would expect, the goons come out. Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows came to the ring. We had Christian knocked Anderson off the apron. Then you got Kenny Omega trying to hit the V-trigger. Christian moves out of the way. And then Kenny Omega V-trigger knees Gallows on the apron at the ring. Then we had Christian finally hit the kill switch. 1, 2, no, just kicked out, but in a way that's just like literally, like if you watch enough in New Japan, that I think there was a Kota Ibushi match where I think it was against Jay White. Yeah, I think it was when he won the title in that double show spectacular beginning of the year when he just put shoulder literally like inches, just. That really helps to kind of show that it took something really special to kick out that move. So it protects the move. Then obviously Callis comes into the ring. Christian chased him away, and obviously allows Kenny Omega time to recover on the turnbuckle. Then obviously basically Kenny Omega was at the top turnbuckle at this point, waiting there. Obviously Christian went up trying to hit a super kill switch. I don't think I've ever seen him do. Then obviously Kenny Omega, being the dastardly heel he is, gouged his eyes. And then got Christian on top of his shoulders, hit the one winged angel from the middle turnbuckle. 1, 2, 3, and still your AEW World Champion, Kenny, my God, Omega. And yeah, I mean, a great finish. I love finishes like that where you have the big. For me, it reminds me of, top of my head, it reminds me of that Dean Malenko Scott 2 Hottie finisher, where that was kind of a similar kind of move from the second world. But it's a great. I love endings like that. But yeah, I mean. Again, I think that they had this good flow going. I don't know what it was. I think it's just because they've faced each other multiple times now and they know how to go. But yeah, it was good. I think it was a great main event. I mean, obviously, I think I would have said CM Punk would have been the main event, but I'm glad they went with this because it really was fun to watch. And obviously, Kenny Omega's still a champion. No one thought Christian was going to win it because he's already got his big moments. So he's already world champion. So, and I don't, as we said before, Kenny Omega's not losing that title to probably until Hangman Adam Page, or if they change plans with Bryan and CM Punk coming in now, maybe they might change plans. Maybe they will. But anyway, the talk of the town was kind of the ending of this show. I mean, obviously after the match you expect to be, end of the show, champion holding his title, end of match. No, we did not get that. After this, obviously Young Bucks, after coming down to celebrate with Kenny, obviously the Good Brothers come out as well, they're all celebrating. And then you got, then he just beat the hell out of Christian Cage at this point, double team. Then you had Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus and Michael Stunt come out. But then obviously the numbers were too much, and then basically at this point, Beat the crap out of him. And then obviously Kenny Omega, you know, got the mic, sitting there saying, and now you understand that I don't care about being the best one, hometown heels and all that stuff. The only people that could beat me are not here. They are retired or they're already dead. That if you know anything from being the Elite, set up who was about to come out perfectly. Then all of a sudden, Adam Cole, baby, is in All Elite Wrestling. Yes, I got a shock because obviously his contract kind of went about a couple weeks ago, and now he's in All Elite Wrestling. It's freaking awesome. Again, that music is all about the boom. Sums up Adam Cole perfectly, and it's such a cool theme. I love themes like that. I've listened to it since I heard it on Sunday. So yeah, obviously a big reaction. Loved it. Obviously, we did have a little tease. Adam Cole comes to the ring, kind of confronting him, saying, "Do you remember me? Do you know what you did?" Because obviously he got it was Kenny Omega who kicked Adam Cole out of the Bullet Club when obviously he was leaving to go to WWE at the time. But obviously it was all a swerve when it was all, you know, hugs his friend. He's part of the Elite. He's gone All Elite. And obviously he was sitting there saying, "What, you know?" And then Cole super kicked Jungle Boy, hugging the Young Bucks, and then saying he's joined the Elite. And then all of a sudden he thought, oh, okay, how long we got to wait until we get Daniel Bryan? And then all of a sudden, just when he thought it was great to see Adam Cole back, just saying about this is the most strongest faction in all of professional wrestling, and it's kind of true in some ways, and all that stuff. And then you just thought that was a surprise, and then boom, all of a sudden, Daniel Bryan's music hits, and they've got a nice little twist of the kind of his former theme, but put a bit of spin on it. Again, very WCW. That's what they used to do when they want to get away from the copyrightness of the theme. But yes, obviously had Hulk Hogan going, yes, yes, yes. You did see a bit where Daniel Bryan was trying to hesitate, not doing it, because obviously they don't want to play around with trademarks. He came to the ring, helping out Christian Cage, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus, beating up all the Elite. Obviously had a cool bit with Daniel Bryan doing the kicks in the corner on Nick Jackson. Then we got a nice little German suplex. Then we got the running knee for Bryan Danielson. Got to get used to saying that. It's actually his real name. His name's Bryan. So yeah, can't complain there. Freaking awesome. Then at the end of the match, we have all three of them stand in the ring, and we end the show with the whole crowd chanting yes, 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 to end an outstanding pay-per-view. I mean, a lot of people talking about this pay-per-view as a game changer. Changes things. It really does change everything in wrestling. It proves that wrestling can be good if it's written right. It shows that if you just give wrestlers time and you let people have a bit more creative freedom and give them what they want, we'll be happy. And it can get some mainstream popularity. I honestly think, I'm interested to see what the buy rate of this show is. It's got to be one of the highest they've ever done. I mean, it had everything. It had the best match tonight by far has got to be the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers in that cage match. By far, an amazing match. Obviously, you've got Jericho MJF was great. I was really a big fan of that CM Punk Darby Allan match. Obviously, we had the stuff like the Miro Eddie Kingston match was really good as well. Had a lot of cool stuff in this pay-per-view, and obviously the returns. Obviously, we've got Ruby Soho was really cool. Obviously, Adam Cole, Baby, and Danny Bryan. Yeah, it just had everything. Just when you up the ante, just no bad matches. They're all really good. Even the Battle Royale was really fun. You could be, if you're going to choose a weak match on the card, you would say that, but we're talking about nitpicking at the highest order in this thing. I mean, I don't know what to give this, because obviously I could easily go proper full-on fanboy and go 9 out of 10 out of 10, but I don't know. I think 9. I don't know what to go for. I might just go 10 out of 10. They'll think there's nothing really I can feel. But 10 out of 10 is very hard to really do. But it's definitely the best AEW pay-per-view I've watched. And it might be contender of the best pay-per-view of the year so far. Maybe of the whole year, period. If they can up this in the next, in Full Gear's their next one, then, I mean, it's so good. I mean, I'm probably really excited for this. But yeah, I don't know if Joshua would agree. I'm assuming he would. I've loved this. Literally, I've been waiting for nearly 3 days to try and talk about this pay-per-view. It's so good. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's got what a pay-per-view should be. It should, at the end of it, you should have a thing, I want to watch the next show to find out what next. Like tonight, I'm going to watch AEW Dynamite because I want to find out what Punk's going to do next, what Danny Bryan has to say, what Adam Cole's got to say, what's go with the match with Sonata, the John Moxley match, all kinds of stuff. And obviously we still got, I can't even think of all the matches. It's going to be so good. I'm flustered. So good, this pay-per-view. So I might be fanboying here. I can't help it. I'm sorry. But yeah, so yes, that's what I think of AEW All Out. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Hopefully you don't mind listening to me for I think what we got now, an hour. Fair, like nearly an hour and 10 minutes. I'll probably put that down, but hopefully you've enjoyed. I've enjoyed talking about it. I wish I would talk with Josh, but it just wasn't to be. Obviously, I just have to talk to it privately and not on podcast form. But yeah, if you like what we do here, you can follow us on Twitter at Josh and Stu Pod. Obviously, this will be up on there, as well as obviously we still do a prediction league and all that kind of stuff. Obviously not for AEW, but check out that stuff. You want to ask us questions, so I'd love to hear your thoughts on AEW and just wrestling in general. I might start putting more questions on to try and get more engagement, because I'm not the best at it. So hope you, but yeah, so check that out. You can go on our Instagram at the Just Do Wrestling Podcast. I try and post more stuff in there as well. Obviously, check us out on your YouTube, obviously Spotify, iTunes, and Anchor. All that lovely stuff. Check us out. Please like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. Really help the channel grow, and hopefully we can build this up to nothing crazy, but want to build it up to be kind of really cool. So yeah, but I hope you enjoy. Obviously, next pay-per-view, from the top of my head that I know of, is probably going to be Extreme Rules. I'm assuming Josh should be back for that, so I definitely will be. So yeah, there's no chance in hell I don't think Extreme Rules is going to top this show. But yeah, I feel it's great to feel like wrestling. It's great to love wrestling again. As Tony Schiavone said, God, I love pro wrestling, and that's how I felt after this pay-per-view. Loved it. AEW are serious contenders now, and yeah, it's going to be so fascinating to watch them grow and see how far they can take this, because at the moment it's freaking awesome. Cannot wait. So yeah, so I've been Stuart Irvine. Hope you enjoyed my review of AEW All Out 2021, and I'll be back next time when we review more wrestling pay-per-views. Until then, have an awesome week and speak to you guys soon. Alright, bye.